Troy Clarke, your host with DrinkBOS, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Bottle, where we meet with owners and operators and talk about the difference they're making in their communities. Today, we're here in East Boston at La Hacienda with the owner-operator that's been here for over 14 years. So let's dive right in. Welcome, Aldo. Welcome, Walter. Nice to have you here. Aldo, you're the owner-operator here of Hacienda?
Correct.
Excellent. And Walter, you're the bar manager?
Correct.
Awesome. Well, why don't you walk us through a little bit about your restaurant that's been in your family for about 14 years now?
It's been a long journey, especially with COVID, but things are looking a lot brighter. We started off 14 years ago when East Boston was still predominantly all Hispanic neighborhood, and throughout the years it's been changing so much. Before we only had a Spanish menu, now we have both a Spanish and English menu. So we're adapting to the times, adapting to the people that are moving into the neighborhood now.
Yeah, it's really, this area, part of Boston, has really changed in the last, I'd say 20 years.
Oh, for sure.
For sure, right? And really developed. So, you know, you've been here for about 14 years and you serve a little bit of a fusion of two different types of cuisine, correct?
Yeah.
You have Mexican food and Salvadorian food?
Correct.
What does that mean? Like, what type of cuisine is Salvadorian, and what's the difference between the two?
So my mom's Mexican,
Okay.
and my dad's from El Salvador. So that's where that concept comes from. We don't fuse both of them. We have certain plates that are only Salvadorian and certain plates that are only Mexican. But Salvadorian food isn't as well known as Mexican, so I feel like adding the Mexican to it really opens us up to different customers that wouldn't really go into a restaurant knowing that it's Salvadorian food. But once you're here and you try the Salvadorian food, you're like, oh man, this is pretty good. And you actually get to know a little bit about a different type of cuisine.
Yeah, I know we're going to get to try some food later, so I'm really excited. But in the culture, you know, there's some similarities between the two, between Mexican and Salvadorian, as far as like what you work with from spices or ingredients, or are they completely different?
There's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of differences. I mean, Mexican food, I think, as most people know, is mainly spicy, whereas Salvadorian food isn't as spicy, but the main ingredients, corn, is involved in everything that we use. So it's similar, but at the same time different.
Yeah, well, I'll save some of the excitement when we get into the dishes and what you're really known for here in the restaurant, so I'm excited about that. But let's talk a little bit about, before we get into, you know, this food and drinks, let's talk about what this last year has been like for you guys, you know, prior to the pandemic and during the pandemic, and talk a little bit about what you've done different to come out of it. But what's this last year been like, Walter?
I mean, I've been here since September. Prior to this, I had been in Faneuil Hall. Faneuil Hall, as you know, is one of the biggest touristy areas in Boston.
Yeah.
Being around there it was always packed. It's nothing like it. I mean, once you go back now, it's completely different. Ghost town.
It's like foreign
It's
crowds.
yeah. It's exactly.
Yeah.
It's scary. Yeah. But for the most part, coming over here at like middle of the pandemic, I think this place being like a big neighborhood bar now and restaurant, it's definitely helped out a lot. And we've obviously, like every other business, felt the dip, but we can slowly sense it that things are coming back to normal, and we're going to be adapting to everything.
You know, it's interesting when you think about what a neighborhood bar and restaurant was, even prior to the pandemic, and what it always was, right? It was the heartbeat of a community, right?
Yes.
I probably would say that during a pandemic, it probably more so than ever, right? With people not traveling, not going anywhere, and relying on that little bit of reprieve or where they would go to kind of feel that escape, being able to get to-go food and still be able to take in some of that, you know, excitement of what they were used to. It probably helped with a lot of sanity for a lot of people. To know that you're there for them, right? Because that's what restaurants do. We're there for our communities. So, you know, were you guys doing takeout the whole time during the pandemic?
Yeah, the whole time we didn't close one time.
Wow.
It was tough adapting because we're not really known as a takeout or delivery restaurant. So the first couple of weeks we were selling like $300-400 in sales, which is a crazy dip for a restaurant of this size. But little by little, a lot of the restaurants around us started going into hibernating, and it really helped us out. We got the word out, and our sales kept improving. And then just adapting to only takeout and delivery was tough, but I mean, we survived. Definitely the PPP loan helped us out a lot. And then once outdoor dining started, that was straight up from there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's been actually funny seeing like a lot of the servers and stuff that worked during the takeout season that we had. They're just seeing like a lot of the regulars coming back again. People that were only in here they hadn't seen prior to like the pandemic, and they just came in here ordering food, and now they're just frequent guests all the time now, which
That's
is pretty
awesome.
cool. So
Yeah, that's really good for staff to be able to see that.
Yeah.
And continue to build your legacy within your community, which is awesome. What was some of the things that you featured? Did you guys get into the to-go cocktails during the pandemic at all? Or was it mostly all food for you?
we did some as far
Okay.
as margaritas, but it was mostly food.
Mostly food, yeah.
Food was the big
Big
one
driver
for
for
us,
you
yeah.
guys. What about your consumer? Did you see a shift from like people looking for more of your promotions digitally, or were people coming by and looking to see if your specials were posted? Like, what were you guys doing different that you maybe didn't have to do before?
Well, I mean, with all the apps we're working with, Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, and even we did some deliveries at some point, and that's been a big help for us. And as far as social media, which is obviously free marketing for everybody, so just publishing our like what's on like our special of the day. So
Yeah. I mean, more people on their phones now than ever, right?
Yes,
So it's just a great way to get to people that didn't cost anything, and having that digital presence is really important. So it's good to see you capitalizing on that. And I think we learned about every food delivery app that's out there now, so we can find ways to get our food. Now, Walter, you coming over from Faneuil Hall, bringing some of that experience and helping to redo the beverage program. What are some things that you're working on now and that you're looking to institute going into this new season?
for this new season, knowing how fast this place is, it's good cocktails, but not crazy like difficult to make.
Yeah.
Just because we have
Super
to keep
simple.
super simple but delicious.
Yeah.
That's what we're aiming for.
And I know that you partnered with some really great brands going in. You talked about working with some new products. What are some of the things that you're going to be featuring on your new menu?
So 3 of the cocktails that are going to be coming up in the menu are the Hermanos Favorito Margarita, which is the margarita I would make for him and his brother when they would visit me up in Faneuil Hall. And we're going to be doing a Cantarito, which is a tequila-based drink with a little chamoy, which is like a soury red sauce that goes on the rim, and a little tajin with spicy as well. That includes tequila, a little lime juice, grapefruit juice, and orange juice. And then we have a bourbon, El Tropical, which is a bourbon drink, which is a Bulleit, our favorite bourbon here. And we have little peach schnapps, mango, and some sour mix as well. So.
Nice. I know we're going to dive deeper into those when the drinks come over in just a minute. And I know we're going to bring some food out right now. So why don't we get into some of that food so we can start diving into some of the Salvadorian cuisine and the Mexican cuisine that you're so known for, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we got some food here. We got some of your cocktails. Aldo, you gotta talk to me about what we got here.
So we'll start off with the nachos. Everyone knows nachos, but we do them a little differently.
Yeah.
We do them individually, and got a little jalapeno, a carne asada, and then, of course, some homemade guacamole, pico de gallo, and a little bit of sour cream on the side.
My mouth is watering, but the best thing I like about this is there's like no forgotten chip. You get a little bit of everything on every single one. This is awesome. I wish everybody did it this way. Because when you get to the end, you're just left with like the naked chip with nothing left, right? This is amazing. Yeah, this is good. I like this. All right, what do we got over here?
Over here we have the aguachile, which is like, it's like a spicy ceviche. Red onions, limes, and a little bit of cilantro. Nothing too crazy. We keep it simple. We keep it basic, but absolutely delicious.
Yeah, super clean, super fresh.
Exactly.
Right? And is there like a whitefish inside?
No, it's just shrimp.
Oh, shrimp. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And then we break off a tostada,
Okay.
grab a little piece, and then little by little. It's mostly food to appetizers or food that you should have when you're throwing back some margaritas.
Nice. All right, and then what do we have here?
And then over here we have this is one of our most famous Salvadoran dishes. It's the Pupusas, this one's actually made out of bean and cheese. Well, it's stuffed with bean and cheese. and the outside's made of maíz, similar to a tortilla. And it's very heavy, so it's always good to have it with your curtido, which is almost like a vinaigrette coleslaw.
Yeah.
And a little tomatillo sauce to give it a little more flavor.
Now, how would you traditionally eat this? Do you pour the sauce on? Do you dip it in? Like, do you put the coleslaw in the middle as you bite it? Like,
So you should definitely be eating this with your hands. We don't use forks.
we don't
or
use
knives.
forks. I like your style.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
everybody eats it differently. Some people peel it open. Some people just cut it up in like little pieces and grab the coleslaw with the sauce on it and just throw them back. So
This is awesome. Now, before we were talking a little bit before we got started, and my mouth is watering, but a little bit of history here. How did this restaurant come about? You said you were telling me a little bit about your parents, and then now you took it over. But what's the backstory here?
Backstory. We started off in Houston, and my dad worked in a bunch of Mexican kitchens. My mom worked as a waitress, a little bit of work in the kitchen as well. And my dad one day just took a road trip with some friends to Boston, liked the city, and we made it up here. He started off working at Chili's, and then on his weekends he would put up a little food truck at soccer games. And little by little, the food truck, then we had like a six-seat taqueria here in Maverick Square. And then a restaurant just a little bit bigger, then a little bit bigger, and then finally to the point where we're at now, which is full liquor license, 100-seater. So I mean, it's a process, it's a journey.
Yeah,
It just
man, this is awesome.
Didn't happen overnight.
My mouth is ready to dive into some of this food, but before we get there, I want to make sure we pay homage to cocktails, a personal passion of mine. So, Walter, you got some beautiful stuff on the table. What do you got here for us? Well, let's start with this one right here.
that's also Hermanos Favorito, the brother's favorite. That's just the margarita, traditional Don Julio Reposado, a little bit of Cointreau, fresh squeezed lime juice, splash of sour mix, and a little drop of simple syrup.
I like how you added the reposado in there, right? A little
Yeah.
bit more, right? Nice.
Then next we have our basic Moscow Mule here made with Ketel 1,
Okay.
ginger beer, and fresh squeezed lime juices again.
And you're using a really spicy ginger beer, like a Jamaican style.
Jamaican style beer,
Yeah,
correct.
Which makes
Yeah.
it really, really nice. Awesome. And then what do you got here?
Next, we go to the Don, it's called Cantarito. We use right here, for this one, we're using Don Julio Blanco. We're using a little bit of squirt, lime juice, orange juice, and a little bit of grapefruit juice as well.
Catching a little trend with Don Julio
Yeah.
here, huh?
That's
an amazing
rim, too.
tequila.
That's our big,
What's
yeah.
really cool about Don Julio is, he started the trend of planting every other row for more depth in the agave plant instead of planting them so close together. Signature of a sign of some really good agave here. So
Yeah.
this is amazing. And then what do we have on the back here? Why don't you pick that up so everybody can
have-
see what you have here?
We have El Tropical, made with Bulleit Bourbon. And that also has a little bit of peach schnapps, a little bit of mango puree, and a bit of sour mix in it. Very
We got to
delicious
dive into
tropical
some of
juice.
this. My mouth is watering, so I'm going to try your brother's favorite here. And we got to try some of these this food here because we don't want to make it go to waste, right? So we should dive in a little bit and let the people know what we have. But I got to try a little bite and let. How should we do this? Any specific way?
Yeah,
Add a little bit on there.
A little bit of guac, a little bit of
A
pico
little
de
bit of
gallo.
guac, a little pico de gallo, right? Oh
Absolutely.
man, I mean nothing should go to waste, right?
No, totally not.
All right, let's try a little bite here. Crunchy, spicy,
Yeah,
really,
a little
really
bit of
nice.
everything.
We'll take a little sip of your brother's favorite. And do you do a little salt on the rim
Little
too?
salt for them, yeah.
Opens it up, right?
That's right.
That's delicious. You get a little bit of that vanilla milk coming from the reposado in there. Really, really delicious. Really well done. So these drinks, this food, but you also have another thing you guys have just started this year. You have an outdoor patio?
Yes.
Oh, talk to me a little bit about this.
So we had one last year, and
Okay.
it was our first time ever having our patio here. Well, from the times that I've been here, I had a customer I had never seen one up until these recent times. So it stinks that it's a pandemic that had to happen for us to get a patio. But with the patio now for this year, we have 7 tables out there, about 4 seats per table. So
About 28 seats.
great new deck that got built just for it. So
I mean, what a great way to bring inside experience, outdoors for people in the summertime.
Yeah.
You know, out of all the negative that's come out of this, it's nice to have a little something positive that you get some outdoor space that we probably would never have seen had this not happened, right?
Definitely. That's definitely one of the positives. We got we got a local artist to paint us a mural in the back. Desert, but with tropical colors. And then we're actually going to be putting up a neon sign pointing to the patio saying El Patio. So pretty cool. And we have a Wheel of Fortune type thing, but for drinks, spin it. We're going to either have the option of a Margarita, a shot of tequila, a shot of aguardiente, mojito. So you'll pick your drink based on what it lands on. So
For all
That's
the
really
indecisive
cool.
people, so
You know, no more just picking something on the menu. You got to spin the wheel, and that's what you order.
what Faith has in store.
I love it. That sounds like a lot of fun. You know, that's what bars and restaurants are, neighborhood places. You're really doing something different, evoking the neighborhood, bringing people out, creating fun atmospheres.
Sure.
Sounds like you guys are doing all that stuff. So awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for letting me stop over, sharing your story with me, sharing your passion with the cocktails that you guys are getting ready to feature. I wish you nothing but success with this summer coming up and many more years, maybe another 14, maybe another 30 for your family.
Thanks.
To continue to grow. So thank you for
Appreciate
everything. Thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on next episode of Beyond the Bottle.